Hi everybody, welcome to All Games New and Old. I'm David Rodriguez, and today I'm going to be unboxing HEXplore It, the Valley of the Dead King. This is actually the first in the HEXplore It series. I own and have played the third, which is called Sands of Shurax, and I really enjoyed it so much that I decided to go ahead and get the others because the settings are all a little different. Some of the mechanics will be a little bit different too because you are doing different things in the different games. But what's great is you can take the heroes as far as the races and classes in one and mix them with the others. So it gives you more variety to play. So that's pretty exciting. I've heard that of the three, this one maybe has just a little less polish to it, that they kind of like fix a couple issues in later ones, but that it's still a really solid game. So I'm excited to try it. So let me turn this over and we'll take a look at the back side here. It says, a hero building adventure board game for 1 to 6 players. Which hero will you choose? Adventure awaits. HEXplore It is a cooperative hero building adventure game system. Select your hero by combining 2 character options, your role and race. Your role is your profession and your race is your species. This combination drives your hero's strengths, weaknesses, and defines your special abilities. You'll use dry erase markers to keep track of your hero's strength. Travel across the map, earning power-ups by completing quests and battling opponents of multiple types. Move carefully to avoid many dangers and travel from city to city, visiting shrines and ruins along the way. Gain power quickly, for the Dead King also moves. He destroys the cities while you frantically gather the power necessary to stop him. For each city the Dead King destroys, he gains more power. The object of HEXplore It is to power up your heroes as quickly as possible to eventually defeat the Dead King himself. The game is won if you confront and defeat him, bringing light back to the valley. Can you save the valley from the Dead King? So what I find interesting about this, the back of this here, is that it really describes things in a very mechanical sense rather than a theme sort of sense, which is, I think, kind of odd for an adventure game. But you know what? That is not a big deal. I just wonder if some people have read that and thought like, oh no, this is very purely mechanics driven and nothing else. And I don't think that's the case. But let me go and get in here if I can. Ooh, okay, there we go. It has a couple miniatures in here that are done by Reaper, so that's nice. They don't have miniatures for like all the bad guys or anything like that. At least in Sands of Shurax, there were 2 that you could pick from for the heroes, and then a miniature for the big bad guy of the game. So I'm wondering if this will be the same. This is, like I said, the earliest one, so there might be some differences as far as what the components actually are. We'll see. Okay. Haha. So here is a picture. This is actually the cover of the second in the series, which I will be also unboxing today. So I'm hoping to not say all the same things over and over again. Oh yeah, here, let's hold out one more. So, Forest of Admiron, very cool cover. That's the second one. And then here is kind of a bigger picture of the Dead King cover. Pretty nice. Okay, as you might guess by the name HEXplore It, there are lots of hex maps or pieces here. So we've got the ones here that are going to be on the border, the ones that'll fill out the middle. There's all kinds of symbols on them that could be like cities or other kinds of features. Some of them will be like mountains, and basically if the mountain peaks up over the edge of the hex, and it's impassable terrain. So there's going to be a lot of that. And the border ones are just kind of, help you set up the game and define the parameters of the area. So I don't know what all these symbols are going to mean because they're going to be different than the Sands of Shurax. Like this has like a tombstone kind of thing to it, which is, not something that Sands of Shurax had. So this strikes me as more of like a gothic horror kind of fantasy setting, whereas Sands of Shurax was all deserty, still kind of horrifying in its own way. So the maps look really cool, just lots of good detail as far as the landscape. There's paths you could travel on. I think in this game the roads are kind of important, whereas in Sands of Shurax there weren't really roads. There was overland you could travel, and then there's an area that was harder to travel in. So, and then these red hexes here are where you can go and for sure fight some kind of boss creature. So they're kind of all over the place in the game. All right, let's take a look at these models here that come. And these again, I believe, are well, actually one might be the big bad and the other one might be the player marker. So this might just have one player marker kind of model, but we'll see. Because this guy right here, he doesn't look like a good guy to me. He's very skeletal, and frankly, he looks like he's probably the Dead King, even has a crown. So I'm pretty certain that's what that is. Here is the hero marker they've given you. it doesn't matter what kind of character you play, they just give you a marker for it, so that's fine. It was the same in the other one. They had like a male and female character you could pick from, and then the big bad was like this giant sandworm. So it comes with a bunch of dry erase markers. That is because there are lots of dry erase boards in here that you're going to keep track of things on. So you definitely need those. We have over here your deck of races. So one thing that's true in this series is there isn't really actually a lot of art. The art they do have is usually pretty dang good, but you know, most of the monsters and, you know, the character races, there's no art for them, which I think is a little strange. I imagine it helps keep the cost down, not having to pay for all this, you know, special art for each race. But, you know, I wouldn't have minded having some art, but it's okay. So let's see what the races are. I think these might be more typical fantasy ones. So you have gnome, human, gray dwarf, halfling, half giant, that's kind of fun, a pixie, goblin, elf, half elf, Demonborn, Stonemar, I don't know what that is. Illumon, I really don't know what that is. Dwarf, Orc, Shifter, Centaur, Shade, Troll, Dragonkin, Dryad, Angelborn, and Ogre. Lot of races in this one. I think the other ones have like 8, so this is a big stack of variety basically here. And it has the ways that your basic stats are changed by picking this particular race, and then each one has a favorite opponent. So you will get bonuses when you take on an enemy that has that that keyword there. So this one, like magical nature, for instance. The Illumon doesn't like humanoids. This one doesn't like monstrous humanoids. So it varies depending on which one you choose. So here is the storybook. A lot of the things in the game will have a little symbol on them, and then if it does, you will go and it'll have some stuff you can read just to add a little flavor to it. So nice flavor text. There is some art in here, which is great. Really quite pretty art, I think. Some short stories looks like. That's kind of neat. So there is a lot of like story background in this game. It just, for some reason, they don't sell it on the back very much. So we got some of the bosses here that you can find. The Bandit Prince, the Gray Slime, Overlord of Chikak Ishak, Goblin Emperor Click, the Megapede, that sounds terrifying, Civ, the Siren Queen, the Giant Basilisk, that sounds scary, the Cryovern, Frost Giant Jarl, the Grey Wolf Pack, the Storm Elemental, Aether of the Wild, that's like a big owl creature, Alabast the Fallen One, oh, that's a messed up looking bear, and then of course you have the Dead King, who is the very big bad that you have to defeat. But a lot of times, depending on how you deal with the bad guy, there will be like a different story element in the back, which is cool. Okay, I'm surprised I don't see the rulebook right on top here, but let me get through some of these tiles. Fascinating. I actually don't see a rulebook at all. That's concerning. I do have a PDF of it, so that's good, but no rulebook in the game. That's not great. Okay, so let's go into the classes though. Maybe it's somewhere down there that I haven't looked yet, so I'm not gonna panic just yet, although it is building inside me. So here's some of the classes you can be. The Sorcerer, and these actually have cool art on the back, which gives you kind of an idea of what they might look like. The Brute. Awesome. The Scoundrel. That's a cool picture, I like her. The Nomad. The Beastmaster. This is a lot. I don't think these will all be classes, but there's a lot of them here clearly. All right, the Priest. And there's 4 different types. I know there's like a there's like a fighting type, there's a healer, there's a support, and then I don't remember what the other type is. It's like Sapper, huh? Okay. The Elementalist. The Tinkersmith. The Shaman. Oh, that one's a cool looking picture. I really like that. The Guardian. Oh, wow. That's pretty fancy. The Hunter. That's a cool centaur looking thing. All right, the Wilder. The Trap Specialist. That's kind of an interesting idea. I like like a goblin looking guy. Berserker. I like the little quote. It looks like, "Hurrah!" That's great. The Weaponsmith. God, these are all classes. That's really a lot compared to what Sands of Sharax had. The Illusionist. That's an adorable picture. Love it. The Divine One. Very pretty. The Rabble Rouser. The Apothecary. The Summoner. This is a lot. This is a lot of classes. For sure. Way more than the other one had. The Oracle. Awesome. The Cartographer. The Minstrel. A bard type character, which is very cool. Alright, okay, so now we're getting to some bad guys. Overlord, Chickasack, which is, these are the ones, the bosses that we looked at in the book. The other side is different things. Goblin Emperor, Click. And this has like kind of you roll a die, and then depending on what you get, he'll attack in a certain way. So, Frost Giant Jarl, Dead King. Oh wow, okay, so Dead King. So the in the Sands of Sharax, it takes up like 2 of these cards to get all the stats, and then it's insane how he has like separate hit points all over his body. So Bandit Prince, Grey Slime, Giant Basilisk or Basilisk, the Cryovern. This is a battle mat. This is where you're going to keep track of a lot of things during a fight. So this is something you're going to mark up a lot during the game. There's some conditions on the back in case you need to look those up. The Megapede, Civ the Siren Queen, and then this has reference game turns, shrines, what they do, ruins, what they do, Bezel Cork's Black Market. There's a regular market, cities, and market. And in Sands of Sharax, there's like this gambling thing you can do that I never really got into. I never really did that when I played. So, okay, so here's where you're going to be putting all of your trays when you get them out. Okay, here's the rules. Thank goodness. I was getting worried. I thought it was really strange that it wasn't on top with the other one. God, I am relieved. I didn't want to have to send this back. So here's the rulebook. These are big rulebooks. This is smaller than Sands of Sharax one. It's 79 pages. I mean, the last page is just an index. But one thing I will say about this is I might see if I can get these spiral bound somewhere. The Sands of Sharax one, I learned the game reading the PDF. It wasn't until I went to play the game that I actually used the rulebook. And just flipping through back and forth trying to find things, the pages were already starting to fall out on my first play. So that might have just been a defect, or that might be how they all are. I don't know. But if I can get them spiral bound so that I don't have to worry about that, I may do that, because I'm afraid I'm going to lose an important page, and I don't want to do that. So, okay, I'm so glad that there's rules. I was getting really concerned. There's various dice here, which of course you're going to use for various reasons in the game. On the 10-sided dice, you're always trying to roll low, because those are your skill checks, and you have to roll below your skill. And then the 6-sided dice, you want to roll high. I believe those are, well, this could be, I think, different things, but still kind of interesting. All right, here are our cards. They have like different boxes for the different types, which is nice. So you have the power up deck, because as you go on, you're going to be getting more and more abilities. Your character really advances a lot during the game, which is fun because it just feels really good. Here's your quest deck, which certain cities will have quests that you can do for them, and that will get you upgrades or income or all kinds of different stuff. And we have the circumstance deck. That's going to be where kind of almost like a random encounter sort of thing. And this can be good or bad. I'll open these up and just kind of show you. There's really not a lot to show. Like the back of this is exactly what they are. It'll have a title, and then it'll have text. And that's really it. There's not art on these individual cards, which again, kind of a bummer, but I get it. It would make the game much more expensive if they had to do individual art for all these different things. So here's the quest, and it's going to have, at least in Sands of Shrock, they were like specific to a city. Like this is probably city 1 because it has that one there. And you'll have one of those at a time that you can go try to accomplish. And there could be a lot of different things you have to do for that. So a lot of variety there. But yeah, if you're bothered by lack of the art, I get it. But there is a lot of fun to be had here. So I wouldn't want to pass this by just because of that. So this is the upgrades. You can see like if you got this, your health would improve by 1. So that's one of the ways that you essentially sort of level up in the game. So very cool. So that is everything in HEXplore It, Volume 1, The Valley of the Dead King. Oh, by the way, you might be looking at this insert, and you can see that it fits the map hexes, obviously. In Sands of Shrock, though, it is such a pain trying to fit them in there and figure out how they want them to all go that I just ended up tossing it because it's just not really reasonable to try to figure it out every time. So anyway, that may be the case here too. I have a feeling it probably is, but no big deal. It all works out. So I'm very excited to try this and to incorporate some of these different hero types into the other adventures and see how I can mix and match and maybe create like some really cool, interesting characters. It's really an exciting game. It's a lot of fun. One of the better adventure games I've tried. So I'm very curious to try this one. There's the pretty cover. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit like and subscribe and click the little bell icon so you can know about the next time I put out a video. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you all around the table again at All Games New and Old. Bye. If you liked that video, I think you might also enjoy this one.
Or this one.
Please hit this little button to subscribe so you can see all our future videos as they come out.
We'll see you around the table.
Bye.
Bye.